Hi, you guys. Welcome to Too Much Tuesdays. I am so glad you're here. This is where you come when life gets to be a little bit too much. It's been kind of a lot lately, and we've been having a really good time here on our Too Much Tuesdays. I give you energy tools to deal with whatever your life throws at you, and you get to have, when you use these things, these little tips I'm giving you, you get to have a better day, a better week, a better life, really. So I am starting a series. Today is the first day of it here in Too Much Tuesdays, and it's called How to Be Happier. Does that sound good? Does that make you happy that I'm doing a series called How to Be Happier? The first question, though, that I ask immediately when I just hear the title of that little series that I'm doing, How to Be Happier, the first question that I ask is it important to be happy? Because honestly, I never thought it was. Just my personality tends to prioritize a lot of things over happiness. And I think a lot of our personalities do. And I think that our culture actually prioritizes a lot of things over happiness. I was prioritizing until one day last week, and I'm going to tell you about it in a minute. I was prioritizing my family's needs over happiness and my friends' needs, my relationships with people. I was prioritizing what would be healthy for me over happiness, like what food, what exercise, what I was prioritizing my work over my happiness. I've always prioritized my spiritual growth over my happiness. It just seems much more important that I'm growing, that I'm evolving. And then there's social justice issues. We have to make this world a more equitable place. It can't be just okay for like straight white wealthy males. You know what I mean? We've got to change our world. So all of those things and more seemed much more important to me than happiness. And then I noticed last week, and it's not like any huge thing happened. I just noticed that a few minor health issues kept cropping up. I didn't know why. I felt fatigued. It's true that I was having some trouble sleeping, but why was I having trouble sleeping? And I wasn't just fatigued, I was just depleted. Does anybody else relate to this? I just felt too tired in not just physical ways, but spiritual and emotional ways to really keep going. And so I looked at that. I used my little energy tools that I teach everybody else, and I looked at that. And I realized I used theta healing this time, which is how we tune into the universe and then listen to what we're getting from the universe instead of just like talking to the universe, which is how a lot of us think of prayer, like, please do this, this, this. Thank you for this, this, this. This is like praying, but it's like listening more than talking. And so I listened. I said, what is wrong with me? Why am I so upset and so depleted? And what I understood was that the thing I was most upset about is how unhappy my family members are, and my clients, and my friends. I was really upset about that. And I realized that I had this little belief that I shouldn't really be happy, that I couldn't really be happy until my family and friends and clients and maybe the whole world was happy first. Oh no. You see what happens if I make my happiness dependent on you and you make your happiness dependent on me? Then we've got like basically like a circle of suffering. It's like, I'm not happy. Are you happy? No, I'm not. Look over there. He's not happy yet. Right. We're all not happy. It's not fair. The world is bad. And we all just sit here like suffering. You guys, somebody has to go first. Somebody has to transcend this and be happy first. And what if it's me? And what if it's you? What are we teaching people by our suffering and our sacrificing? We're teaching them how to suffer and sacrifice. What if we could actually not just do things and get things done, but be happy? So I also realized that I can't even like start to really, I can start to. I can go a certain ways because I'm like determined, you know. I can go a certain ways in helping other people, even when I'm not happy. You really can. You can do that for a while. But at some point, you're going to get depleted and you're going to be like, what are we all doing here? And that's really what our culture emphasizes a lot, right? I mean, I was a kid all through college, from when I was little all through college, who was like really good at academics because I'm interested in intellectual stuff. But that is what our schools focus on, academic development. What did you do all day at school? You took a class called math and a class called science and a class called English, different variations of these. Maybe you took an art class, maybe you took gym or dance. Did you ever take a class and being happy? I mean, I don't even remember this being mentioned to be happy. Maybe when you're little, like you get playtime. But remember in like sixth grade, they take playtime away. It's gone. It's like, well, you're 11 now. Well, that's over. And I'm a sort of religious, spiritual person. I've been to a lot of religious education. I went to church. I know a lot of people went to synagogue or mosque or whatever. Did they talk about happiness? A lot. If they did, I missed it. It could be just me. I'm a really serious person. I really am. I have a great sense of humor too, but like put me in the class and I'm the one with the notebook, like going like this, I don't remember anybody ever talking about the need to be happy, the importance of being happy, or how to be happy. They talk about a lot of stuff, but I don't remember them talking about that. I do have one teacher who did talk about and does talk about happiness a lot. So when I got to this spiritual healing class called Theta Healing, the teacher, the founder of the technique, Vajana Steibel, she would always, I think she still does it, but she went through a phase for years where she would open class like this. She'd come, everybody, we're all, there'd be like 100 or 200 of us in the class. She's this great teacher. We'd all be like waiting for this class and signed up for the new class from Vajana. And she'd always walk in a little late to get people a chance to get in and everything. And we'd all be sitting there. I would have my notebook out, like I said, like this. Like I write down almost everything Vajana says in the class because she's just this genius who keeps like, hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Who keeps, like just dropping these pearls of wisdom, right? So I'm ready. Vajana would enter the classroom and say, hi, everybody. And we'd all go, hi. And then she'd say, are you happy? I always thought that was weird because I didn't prioritize it. I hadn't been taught that it was important. Or if they taught that, I totally missed it. But there's this teacher of this healing technique. And the first question she always asked every class was, are you happy? And she would ask it throughout the day too, because we'd start getting real stressed. She'd give us an exercise and we'd be like, oh, can I do it? Is somebody else going to be better than me? And she'd come in like, hey guys, did you have a good lunch? Did you enjoy it? Are you happy? Wow. That was like a phenomenon. Yeah. Kathy Cummins' school emphasizes achievement. Religion emphasizes sacrifice. Kind of true. Kind of true. Another thing that happens in Theta healing classes is that there's cultures from all around the world. So that's one really cool thing, that when we gather, usually in the summer, for this conference, there's people from all over the world. And luckily, a lot of them speak English because like I don't speak any other languages, so I would be a little cut off from them. But they speak English, and we'd go out to lunch and talk. And the people from other countries would always tell me, because I would get to be friends with them, and they would tell me what they thought was weird about Americans. And there were a lot of things, but one thing that they thought was weird about Americans was that this is how we usually get to know people. We say, hi, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you do? That seems normal to me because I'm an American. People are just trying to like find out what you do with most of your day. What do you do? But in other countries, apparently, they don't do this. They say, hey, where are you from? How are you? I don't know what they say, but it's not about doing. And that really is what our culture a lot of times is about. We used to go around with day timers. And then what were those things? They had like a stylus and I don't remember what they were called. Do you guys? And now we have our phones, of course, with our like, I'm still trying to remember what those things were with the little stylus that it was like a scheduler. Uh, and now we have our like different, it can't just be a calendar. Right now we have like Trello and things like that to organize, like, what are you going to do? I have Post-it notes and, Google Sheets, Google Sheets. What am I doing today? Palm Pilot. Thank you, Natasha. Yes. Remember Palm Pilots? They were really big for a while, because what are we going to do today? So I am asking you today, as we talk about how to be happier, to try to shift from what am I going to do today to what am I going to be today? How am I going to be today? What am I teaching the people around me with my energy of being? Because that's really important. I think it's important what we do also. I really do. I think we need to work for social justice, for example. We can't just sit around, being. We have to take it from being to doing. But first we have to have the being. Even while we're doing, we have to have the being, So it occurred to me last week that really I need to prioritize happiness a little bit more. Otherwise, I won't be able to do what I want to do, which is, in my case, to help my family and friends and clients and the whole world to heal, to rise above this place where we're kind of stuck at, but we're getting unstuck. COVID has unstuck us in a lot of ways. We just haven't figured out where to get to next yet. That's why it feels hard. So I started thinking, wow, it's okay and it's important for me to be happy. But interestingly, almost right away, I started to feel some resistance to this. Like, no, that would be selfish, wouldn't it? Me being happy? Like, I'm thinking of happiness as this, unit, this pie. And if I take too big of a slice, then there won't be slices for everybody else. Well, of course, that's ridiculous. That's the opposite of abundance. Our universe is an abundant place. Happiness is abundant. It's just there. It's so easy. I came to this realization in the spring, and where I am right now, it's so beautiful. All I have to do is look out the window and I see branches that used to be just stark and brown. And they've got these beautiful little red and pink and bright green buds on them. The world is set up so that we can, if we choose, be happy. But there's a lot of other stuff too. So I started to research things a little bit because I thought, well, is happiness important? Is it really? And you know what I found out? Some really great spiritual leaders think that happiness is important, and great thinkers, no less than Aristotle. I never knew this. I guess I never took a course in Aristotle. My brother was a philosophy major in college, but I was a theater major, so I didn't take a class in Aristotle. And apparently, Aristotle taught that happiness is the ultimate purpose of human existence. What? Aristotle said that happiness is the ultimate purpose of human existence, but that he also said that happiness isn't just receiving pleasure, which is sort of one beginning stage of happiness, and it's not even, Aristotle said, just a virtue. I've been thinking of happiness as a virtue, like patience is a virtue and courage is a virtue, and maybe happiness is a virtue. I kind of think it is. But Aristotle said happiness isn't just a virtue, but it's the exercise of virtue, so that it's displaying those virtues like generosity, like justice, like love. And that displaying of our virtues will make us happy. And us being happy raises the vibration in our room, in our family, in our workplace, in our community, in the world. Us being happy raises the vibration, and that is what we need. Judeo-Christian teachings don't talk about happiness a lot with the word happiness. So that's probably what confused me in Sunday school and church. They didn't really say happiness, but they did talk a lot about what? Joy. They really did, especially in the book Psalms and Proverbs, which are important documents both in Jewish tradition and Christian tradition, they talk a lot about joy. They say delight in the Lord, delight in God. Just like I was saying, I'd look out my window and I just get a little hit of delight. Oh, look at the leaves, look at the flowers, delight just in the oneness, the Godness in the universe. And Jesus said, I have come that they may have life and have life to the fullest. So he didn't really say the word happy from what we have written down, but I think having life to the fullest is kind of like happiness. And in the Buddhist tradition, the Dalai Lama, who's like the representation of Buddhism, says if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. So that's important to me because it makes it not as selfish, right? I can't be selfish. I just don't want to be selfish. So if my being happy leads to the compassionate act of my making others happy, then that's cool with me. I also have met a lot of people who have met the Dalai Lama because I think he's older now. I don't know if he's going around teaching anymore, but he used to go around and teach, and you could get tickets, and if you were close enough to the stage, he would walk in and say hello to you. And then of course I've read a lot of, interviews and articles that have been written about the Dalai Lama, and everybody, whether they've interviewed him or have just met him for a second in person, everybody says the same one thing. He was the happiest person. He laughs all the time. And I think it surprises people. It surprises me because I think of the Dalai Lama as being Buddhist, meditation, Everybody talks about how he laughs, how he has an incredible sense of humor. It must be important. And then I could go on. But let me just mention one more person because you might want to, if you're interested in happiness now, like I am, and then we're going to get to a practice or two that you can actually do right now to help you to start to be happier. And the very first thing is about self-forgiveness, believe it or not. But there's a psychologist named Martin Seligman who basically 20 years ago or so started this movement of the science of happiness. And he has a lot to say about it, and it's a lot of cool stuff. So if you want to Google Martin Seligman, the science of happiness, there actually are now classes that you can take in how to be happy. So why do I think that self-forgiveness is the first step to being happy? Well, because if you don't forgive yourself, then 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you are going to have somebody who has a grudge against you and is silently or not so silently criticizing you all the time, and you can't get away from them because they're you. And I think it's pretty impossible to be happy under those circumstances. So I recommend forgiving yourself. And I'm going to talk about the steps to that. But let me first tell you a quick little example. First about how I did not forgive myself, and then about how I did forgive myself and the stark difference. So some of you know that in the summer of 2019, I moved from where I had lived, New York City, for 30 years. So I moved to New York right out of college. I had never had my own car. I wasn't into driving. I had a license, but I didn't really drive that much. And then for 30 years, you live in New York. You don't need to know how to drive. You need to know how to put your hand in the air and hail a cab, and you need to know how to use the subways. Now you need to know how to use Uber. But you don't need to know how to drive. And I knew how, but I just was very underconfident about it. I hadn't had much experience. So I remember this one time. There's a lot of examples I could give you guys, but I'm going to give you this one example. I was trying to get to an appointment. This is in the fall of 2019, so about a year and a half ago. And thank God I had my GPS on my phone. So a lot of times I don't like technology, but I've been really very grateful for it this past year, as my GPS has led me places otherwise I would just not be able to go anywhere ever, I guess. And so my GPS was leading me, but I missed the exit. It was confusing. There were a couple of different turnoffs, and I just went right by. And I was really upset. I was like, oh, I missed the exit. Now I'm going to be late for my appointment. And I went around, and it was recalculating or whatever she says, and I had to go around all the way around again so that I could get that exit. And guess what? I missed it again. I missed the exit twice. And I was so upset with myself that I started to cry. Now, crying is not a good combination with driving. Okay, so I immediately pulled over as soon as I could into a parking lot, and I sat there crying, and I could barely pull myself together enough to get on my phone and cancel my appointment and go back home and cry more. I was just so upset with myself. All right, so cut to last week. I had an appointment. This one was further away. This was about half an hour away. I'd never been to this place before. And my GPS led me, like sometimes it does, in this really weird back roads kind of route, like, no, we're not going to take the highway that you know about, that you finally learned how to get on the exit to, or the entrance. We're gonna take all these back roads. So I'm following. And then we get to this little, me and my GPS, get to this little back road. And it was kind of confusing. There were a few different roads, but I was sure that I was turning left, but I thought I was turning onto a one-way street. Well, guess what? I wasn't. And I looked like this, and there was a huge truck bearing down on me. I stopped. He stopped too. He was paying attention, and then he waved me on. I went on, and I drove to my appointment, and I was okay. But when I got to the place where I was going to have the appointment, guess what? Tara's worst nightmare, parallel parking. And I knew that I couldn't do it. I was like, nope, not going to do it. And I just kept driving. I drove a couple of blocks till I found a place that had like regular in parking. I parked in the place. I turned off the ignition and I went, waiting for the tears. I was about to do EFT myself, even though I'm a terrible driver. And I was like, actually, I'm okay. I'm okay. Why am I okay? Because I forgave myself. I made a mistake. I made a mistake that could have hurt me and others. I made a mistake and I forgave myself. That was the difference between the falling apart and having to cancel everything and then making a mistake and going on. So how do you forgive yourself? How do you do this? It's a great idea. How do you do it? We might go into it more next time because now we only have a few minutes left, but I'm going to give you guys the steps because they're easy, really, once you understand it like you do now and once you give it a chance and you're going to do it. So the first step to forgiving yourself is seeing yourself. Seeing yourself for how you are right now and letting that be okay for this moment. It's not that you're accepting that you'll always be that way or that nothing can ever change or should ever change. It's just accepting that's what is right now. So we're going to do that in what I call a meet and greet meditation. This has been a really important practice in my life the past year. You ready? Okay. So take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you want. Hold for a few moments. And breathe out. Now I want you to focus on one little part of your body at a time because we are huge, powerful souls, but we are in this body right now. And it's okay. We see that and accept it. So first, as your eyes are closed, I want you to take your attention down to your toes and just see every molecule of your toes. Just see it. And then every molecule of your feet. And slowly go up your legs and just see, oh, hi. And then you're going to get to your torso, to where your chakras are. And this is where there gets to be more like organs in your body. And things get more complicated. And there gets to be more to judge and accept or reject. So this is what we're going to do right now. We're just going to meet and greet. You're going to go up your body, meeting and greeting all the different molecules and cells of the organs of your body. And when you get to one that kind of hurts right now, or that you know has given you a lot of trouble, or maybe you're still having trouble with it, maybe you're going to have to go have chemo or an MRI or something like that, I want you to just right now meet and greet. Right now, you're just seeing that kidney. You're just seeing that lung. You're just seeing your heart. Just seeing, hi. You're going to get all the way up to your shoulders, go down your arms to your fingertips and your fingerprints, and you're just going to say, hi. to each cell of your body, up your throat, your face, your head, up to your crown chakra, and then you're going to expand out and just greet those molecules of air around you. And then go to the molecules, whatever's in the room, your home, your office, your car, and then keep going to the outside. This is where it gets more exciting and easier. And you remember that you are one with all of this. All of these molecules of hydrogen and oxygen, all of these trees and animals, you just are saying hi, hi. And you can actually feel your connection with them. And you can actually see the beauty of each of these molecules. And you're just here. And you can remember your oneness with what's down in the earth, what's up, all the way out, past the stars, up, 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 out, through our universe and out of our universe. And just from there, you can open your eyes. This is a meditation that helps you to simply see and simply accept and not have to do anything. So the first step in forgiving yourself is seeing yourself. The second step is accepting yourself. So if you've been here with me on Too Much Tuesdays before, a few times we have focused on EFT or tapping. So if you weren't here, you'll probably catch right on, but I'm not going to go back into it and explain it, but I do encourage you to go and sign up at beyondyourbelief.com, put your name and email in there, and you will receive a whole beautiful little PDF with little mini videos explaining how you can do this practice of tapping. But right now, we're just going to do it, and we're going to do it focusing on this thing about acceptance, self-acceptance, because it's a big one. And EFT is so, so valuable and useful for accepting yourself. It's been really big in my life, in the lives of my clients this past year or two. So we start right here and say something like, even though I usually see things I don't want to accept in myself, I wish I accepted myself. Even though I can see a lot that I want to reject in myself, I want to accept myself instead. Even though I have this feeling of rejecting myself, I actually also have a feeling that I could accept myself. Something like that. You can say anything you want. Next point, this feeling of rejecting myself, that I wanted to be accepting myself. Wow, could I even possibly do this? Could I accept myself? I think I can accept myself. My automatic tendency is to reject myself. I'm going to accept myself anyway. I accept how I reject myself. It's cute how that's what I always do. Sometimes I feel like rejecting myself. But now I know it's safe to accept myself. K27, remember right here? Oh, wow. It feels different to accept myself. I deserve to accept myself. So you can go through your points like that, okay? And the last point down here, a few inches under your armpit. It really, really helps a lot. Go through your tapping a few times. Whenever that feeling of, I hate this, I hate myself comes up, okay? The third thing is to find the lesson. Third thing about forgiving yourself. Remember, you see yourself, you accept yourself. Find the lesson that your soul is trying to learn when you start to reject yourself or the world around you. And it's usually, I'll give you a big hint, it's usually exactly the opposite of how you're feeling or acting. So with my driving thing, when I would drive somewhere and make a mistake and get all totally freaked out, you know what the lesson was when I finally realized that I could go up and just ask? The lesson was that I am safe. I wasn't taught that. I was taught that I was in danger of going to hell. I was taught that I was in danger of being mugged because I was naive and in danger of being raped because I was pretty. I was just taught that I was in danger and that I was not safe. And I understand the reasons behind teaching me that. because I was super naive, probably still am. But what the creator of all that is wants me to know and learn is that I am safe. I'm safe and protected. I can be aware. I can look to the left before I turn left against traffic. I'm safe. So ask what the lesson is that your soul is trying to learn. Would you guys like some downloads about how to accept yourself, forgive yourself, and be happy? Okay, I'm going to do that right now. So what downloads are, if you haven't had them before, is I'm going to say, do you want this download? Just like you would for your computer, you download from the internet. I'm going to ask if you want this download from the universe, the divine energy of all that is. And you just say yes. Just close your eyes and just receive this if you want it. Okay? So would you like to know that it's possible, safe, what it feels like and how, and that you're willing to and deserve to nurture yourself? I'm going to go pretty quick through these. I'm going to download you at the end. Would you like to know that it's possible, safe, what it feels like and how, and that you're willing to and deserve to accept yourself unconditionally and love yourself unconditionally and respect yourself unconditionally? And would you like to know that it's possible and safe, what it feels like and how, and you're willing to and deserve to forgive yourself and have faith in yourself and have faith in Source, the divine energy, or God, or the universe, or whatever you like to call that energy? And would you like to know that it's possible and safe, what it feels like and how, and that you're willing to and deserve to believe in your soul's plan wherever you are in it right now? And would you like to know what it feels like and how, and that you deserve to and are willing to grow and evolve without being hard on yourself and without holding grudges against yourself? And would you like to know that it's safe and possible, what it feels like and how, and that you're willing to and deserve to be happy? I'm going to give you guys all those things. I'm just channeling them from Source right now. Beautiful. And one thing that will help you, two things actually, to be happy, to accept yourself and forgive yourself, is positive practices and supportive systems. Positive practices are whatever you need to support yourself, like yoga, theta healing, EFT, meditation, whatever your thing is, creativity, just feeling your connection, walking, whatever positive practice you can put in your life. Please, I beg you, make time for it. 20 minutes a day. You've got it. You can do this. And supportive systems. When you are out there all by yourself trying to do all this, it's hard to impossible. You have to have supportive systems in your life, whether it's your family, maybe not, your friends, your religious or spiritual organization. I am here for you. We have a Beyond Your Belief community. So if you want to be part of that, come to our Beyond Your Belief community page here on Facebook. It's super easy. You answer a couple of questions and we let you in. And also, like I said, sign up for beyondyourbelief.com. Sign up at that place, actually, beyondyourbelief.com, and you will be part of this community. Either one of those ways, you can do that. And I know that there's so many other supportive communities out there as well. So find those positive practices and those supportive systems that you need. Thank you so much for joining me today, and be happy.